Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's my pleasure and honor to call to order the February 1st, 2024 meeting in the Conejo Recreation and Park District Board of Directors. And it's my honor to ask Aline if you'd please lead us in the pledge.
Ready to stand, hand over heart, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call, please, Aline.
Director Lang,
Here.
Director Nichols, Director Huffer,
Yes.
Director Cussworth. Here. Director Buss.
Here.
We have a quorum and hopefully Doug will be feeling better soon. Moving on to item 4, special presentations. We have none this evening. Moving on to item 4, items from the public. I don't have any speaker cards. Okay, so we're moving on to approval of the agenda. And at this time, I'd entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second.
Thank you, first and second. Appreciate that. Any other comments associated with the agenda that we're following tonight? If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Hearing none, that motion pass. Item 6, consent calendar, item A and B, approval of minutes, January 18th, at regular board meeting. And B, approval of warrants, accounts payable, check registers, $445,384.01, and payroll, $470,500. And item C, CRPD salary schedules. Any comments or questions? So yes, to Mr. Huffer.
Yes, I'm just curious about item C, the salary schedule, since we're approaching the point where we have the compensation survey and changes in job descriptions and everything. I'm wondering if it's premature to be looking at the salary schedule, or do we have to do that at this particular time because we're required to under a certain period of time?
Yeah, so this is only and exclusively because of the rise in minimum wage that went into effect January 1. And so it only affects our part-timers that are kind of in that near the minimum wage. So that's all it is. And our class comp is focusing on almost exclusively full-time. There are, I think, a couple part-time positions, but for the most part, the class comp's about the full-time positions.
Right, but the salary schedule included all positions, part-time and full-time.
Oh.
I believe on the
Right.
sheet though.
Yeah, those are all
ones
the
that-
same. The
that's
full-time didn't
part-time
change.
is the only one that
Yeah.
is different. The other ones you guys pre-approved in,
It's dated.
it's dated. The 3 forms are dated. So hang on, let me see if I can find it quick.
Yeah, there's no changes to the full-time. There's no changes on the full-time
You guys-
salary
so-
schedule.
But presumably, once the study is completed, there will be some changes.
That would, yeah, that would be.
Again, it goes to the question of why, if that change is coming up in the not too distant future, that we're voting on full-time salaries.
Well, you could say, we're not touching any of the full-time. This literally is just for the part-time. We just kept the whole document together. We're only changing part-time. The part-time, like there's no changes on the full-time.
So, on the-
Currently.
yeah,
And
on
if
the,
there are changes, we can address it at that time.
Right.
Okay.
But
Right.
good question.
All right, well, in that case, I'll move approval of consent calendar items A, B, and C.
Thank you. We have a second, and we have a second. Any other comments, questions associated with consent calendar? If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Hearing none, that motion will pass. Item 7, deferred matters, we have none. Items for discussion, item 8, we have no items for discussion. Going on to new items, item 9, amendment number 2, memorandum of understanding with Los Flores Community Garden. Staff, we just,
Yeah, you can stay seated for now, or if you want to make your way to the podium. I won't be too long, but thank you, Chair Lang, for the introduction. Appreciate it. And members of the board. So as you're aware, we have a really good relationship with a nonprofit of the Las Flores Community Garden. They're located in Conejo Creek West off of Las Flores. And so we've actually had a couple different MOUs over the years when they started over 14 years ago, talking with staff. And we currently have an MOU that's been amended for a 5-year extension. So that current MOU's run for about 10 years now. We're looking to extend that existing MOU. As you're aware, the garden rents out plots for the public to use, so they have a space to garden, and it's a communal gardening group. They also have expanded to an orchard over the years on the property as well. So we've been in coordination with that. And the agreement tonight would extend the term to April 17th of 2029. So again, a 5-year extension, pretty standard with what we've done over the years with our user groups. We did have a minor kind of language change regarding the plots with the district residences, as noted in the amendment document that's provided in your packet. And with that, I'm available for questions, but more importantly, the garden and Susan, the president of the garden, is here for any questions the board may have.
First of all, board members, questions from staff, Director Huffer.
Yeah, first of all, I love the garden there. I'm all in favor of the 5-year extension. I think that's terrific. I'm just curious, when you were referring to the section 1M, you said it's updating the language. As best I could tell, the language basically says the same thing. It's 51%, minimum 51% of the garden plots. And if they're all taken, that CRPD residents get preference.
Correct. Yeah. So there was no really term change with it. It was the garden suggested to kind of just clean it up because it was a little bit redundant. And so if you look on the attached MOU that was approved by the board back in 2014, that item is just a little wordy. So we were trying to clean it up to make it a little bit more concise.
Okay, so I mean, it's not changing what it said, just the way it's said. Okay,
Correct.
that's fine. Thank you.
Okay, any other additional questions before? Yes, Director.
I have a
Yes.
question, but it's not about the actual contract. Sure. Yeah, thanks. I was just curious at this time if you know how many people are on your wait list.
We have a shortage, and we have a large waiting list. Thank you. Oh, thank you. We only lease to district.
Okay, I was just curious, would you happen to know how much space you would need if to make 95 new garden beds?
I think feasibly, we could use another 40 to 50 plots. When my plot manager contacts the waiting list people, right now we have about 10% turnover every year. And so we had 14 plots open, which is under 10. And the people that she's contacting are from January of 22. And so people are waiting 2-3 years.
Wow.
And then and a lot of this was over COVID when people got on the wait list. And now they've moved away. We can sometimes go through our wait list kind of fast and sometimes not.
Okay, so really like 40 to 50 new plots would be ideal for you. Okay, awesome. Yeah, that was just my question.
20 would be nice. May I say something?
Yes, I was just going to ask if you would go ahead with your prepared presentation.
I want to congratulate you, all of you board members. Honestly, and Director Lang, congratulations on chair, and Director Nichols for vice chair. Amazing. I love it, and the garden loves it. We live for you guys. We really do. And we have had nothing but support from you and all of the staff here in the building. Whenever I have a question or I have a need, they're on it right away. And I can't even express how much our membership loves this partnership and loves you. And we appreciate everything about it. Do you have any questions for me?
Thank you.
I personally don't have any questions. I have comments. Marissa or Huffer or Nellie Cuthbert?
I can make a comment.
Sure.
We love you too.
Oh, thank
So,
you.
I'm not a member of the community garden, but whenever I go over to that area, it fills my heart with joy to just think that we have it. And when we've gone on the tours, it's just so lovely and it's just a great addition to our community.
Thank you.
So thank you for all of your hard work and for adding, your greenhouses and your meeting spaces and maintaining that garden to such a high degree. So it's lovely to have a community partner such as you. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Director Cuthbert. Do you have any questions, comments?
I've already made my comment. I love the facility over there. When I was there with my grandkids a year or two ago,
I
they
remember.
really appreciated the tour of the garden. So
Absolutely.
it's great.
I'm up for any tour at any time because as you well know, it's my favorite topic of conversation is Las Flores Community Garden. I can kind of get like this, but I love every part of the garden and most of our members do.
As you know, I was around before it even was created.
Okay.
I was just curious, are there any original members of the
Yes.
community garden still with us?
Yes, 3. We have Fady McCune, who is actually one of our founders. She still gardens and 2 others that have been there. Well, I believe we are entering our 25th year. And we want to celebrate that somehow. And so my board is going to come up with a way of celebrating 25 years, and we'll see what happens,
Talking about 25 years, how do we compare with other community gardens in Ventura County or thereabouts?
They pale in comparison. I just led a tour of a community garden in Simi, and Oak Park is coming over next week. I have met with Santa Clara. I've met with one in Woodland Hills. For us, our members are number 1. And everything we do is for our members, where it's not that way. It's not that way in other community gardens. And I'm astonished when I hear that, what are you doing for your members in this regard or this regard? And a lot of questions come my way. And I'm everything is upbeat and positive, and we are the best. We absolutely are the best. And I contribute most of that to your support. And we have great members
Yeah,
that do a lot of work.
obviously, yeah. I can only make one direct comparison, and that is Santa Maria, the city of Santa Maria. We have a
Yes.
friend who has since deceased, but she was a very active member, and we took a couple tours of their garden. And I would say the same thing as far as comparing and they even had some other land issues that's the city or a developer was taking over part of their
Mhm.
garden, so they had to relocate all of that. So I would agree. I think we're
We
head and
are the
shoulders
best.
above others.
We know we're the best and we're going to continue being the best. We're also the largest.
That's a good point.
Mhm.
So largest based on size or the number of gardeners?
Not on acreage, on plots leased out.
Say again.
Plots leased out. How
Gotcha.
many we lease out? We lease out 162 of 167 available. And we lease out the most in Ventura County.
Very good.
Yeah.
And thank you for your work and for your great group associated with the community garden. We love you. And we love
the
your
support.
vegetables and that too. Okay,
Any
board
other
members, any
questions?
other comments or questions come to mind? If not, I'd entertain a motion and yes, Director Hover.
I'd like to move approval of the staff recommendation for the general manager to enter in amendment number 2 of the MOU with Los Flores Community Garden.
Second that.
Great, we got a motion and a second. to approve. Any other comments or questions come to mind? If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstention, hearing none. That
Thank you,
motion-
directors.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you, and appreciate all the hours that you guys put into it to make it what it is. We're moving on to item 9B, Amendment Number 1, Memorandum of Understanding with Thousand Oaks Titans Cricket Club for use and improvement of Pepper Tree at Pepper Tree Playfields of the Cricket Club field. Staff, please.
Thank you, Chair Lang, members of the board. We've had an MOU for 1 year. We had a 1-year term with TO Titans. It started back in March of 23, and a part of the agreement was to just test it out, right? We wanted to kind of test out the relationship. It was a 1-year term. And within 2 months, correct me if I'm wrong, the cricket pitch was installed, open for play. They put in a synthetic cricket pitch, and they've been maintaining it with in coordination with our field staff, our ground staff that's out there. I know Rochelle's folks have been very appreciative of the coordination and the work the cricket club, as well as her sports staff working together on things. And so it's been a really good first year of the relationship. And so in talking with TO Titans, they would like to continue the agreement. Staff agrees. Typically we kind of move up the years. We go from like a 1 to a 3, and that's the part of the recommendation tonight is to do a 3-year agreement. The exact same agreement that you approved last year would be in place, just a term of a term of time would be the only change to extend it. And with that, I'm available for questions on how it's been going, as well as TO Titans is here. Yeah, if you want to ask me questions or them.
Thank you. Board members, any questions of staff? Yes, Director Cussworth.
Well, I'd like to just ask the TO Titans, how's it going? It looks like you're
Well-
prepared.
Yeah, I mean, just wanted to show some of the partnerships and, what have you done in the last year?
We're sharing.
Yeah.
With our color.
Yeah.
That's good.
Go ahead and proceed.
So first of all, thank you for having us, and also the 1-year agreement that you led us to have the pitch installed there. So as you can see, it's a 5-year partnership, that we have been there with the CRPD. And then with the availability of the permanent pitch, we're able to achieve a lot, with all of your support in 2023. So I've just put certain numbers in there just to highlight how important, that pitch is to us in terms of the number of games that we were able to play in the 2023 and the first month of 2024. We're able to play like 64 games. That is over like 62 days. And you can also see that there are about 12 teams, even though we are running it, but there are 12 teams, most of which are venture, there are a few external teams as well. And more importantly, about more than 50 youth players were able to actually play. And we were able to conduct about 10 coaching sessions for them. And again, in the future with the longer term agreement, we would like to extend that even further. And then the last number is more of, if you think about the extended family that would have been that benefited from having a pitch like this, is about 200 people. So it is, even though it's one pitch, but you can really see the impact that it kind of bring to the community, bring to us, and all of it. And we sincerely thank all of you for making that happen. And we would like to continue this partnership with the CRPD.
Great.
And so far, the feedback that we are getting from the other teams are, again, during the evaluation process, I know Jim and you kind of visited some of the clubs at the other areas. When they come to play here, they're saying like, actually, this area is actually really good. This is much better than a lot of the facilities that we have. So, I wanted to also take this opportunity to thank the maintenance staff who are kind of keeping the ground to the level. And again, all we are hearing is positive feedback, from the community as well as from the teams playing the game.
Great. Board members, yes, Director Cussworth.
So how many other teams do you play, and how far away do they come from to play with you?
So as a part of our regular Southern California Cricket Association, division, so we play against we play against about 10 to 12 teams that comes and visit us. And there are teams, some of them are actually coming all the way from like San Diego to Bakersfield. So there is somewhere in the middle as well. But there are certain, teams within the Ventura County also comes and plays us. But it's about 12 teams, I would say.
And so when I've gone there, it seems that when you were mentioning families, that this isn't just a drop off your kids sort of game. You have,
Yes.
all the families are there and it looks like it's a really,
Yes.
nice afternoon or morning or all day or however long you're there. It's a
Yes,
long time.
yes, it is long and the kids enjoy it because it's like really a nice place where they can go and play, because in the other fields, you probably have seen it. That's a bigger commitment for them because they only have cricket. Here, they come there, they enjoy the time on the cricket and also they can, go and do other things in the play field and the families, the extended families also come and visit us. Yeah.
So I'm really glad that this has worked out for you. So
yeah, thank you.
congratulations for pursuing this and adding this to our community. Thank you.
Yeah, really appreciate all of you for making that happen because, as you can see, it's a journey. And, I know that, you also came on during a weekend to come to all the way to like Woodley to, look at the pitch and also even to El Monte to like, take a look at all the pitch. So we sincerely thank and appreciate all your support so far. And we also have a few other, things that we want to, work with you over the next few, months and years to, get that to the next level.
If you wouldn't mind, please introduce your.
Oh, sure. So, come on. So this is Jay Desai. Is
And you're active in supporting.
Yeah.
The,
they're all part of the
program.
club. They are, former captains. So we have, Satya is our point for CRPD. And then, so we rotate every 2 years. There is a, captainship rotation. So I think, all of them are former captains. So I'm the current captain now for the team. So.
Great, well, appreciate all the effort and time and so forth you put into it. And it sounds like it's paying off. I must admit, I only made the opening. I'm dealing with my knee replacement all last year, but not only the participation, but the involvement of, as already alluded to, the family and so forth is very impressive. It very much a part of our community when you do things like that. So thank you so very much.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you're in touch with our staff as
Yes.
far as
So
any other potential growth or other ideas for the future. And I didn't mean to start my comments. I was going to wait for the other board members, but what kind of comments are you getting from these other teams coming from outside our
Yeah.
area?
So some the people that are coming to the, from the outside, as I mentioned, they are really loving the views in the ground. And also from a facility perspective, the pitch that we laid, the synthetic pitch, it is probably the best, maybe the one with an exception of the Woodley, which is like, the real like international wicket. But I think there is so much appreciation towards the quality of the wicket. And more importantly, the quality of the outfield, in terms of like how they can actually be active, because this is an active sport where the ball goes in and people actually will dive around and they try to save the runs. And I think all the feedback that we're getting from them in terms of the playing conditions, this is probably the best field out there in overalls. I think some of them even said like it's best in the Southern California that we have in terms of the, the playing conditions and all that. And even the area outside the, the playing area where few of the fields, we don't even have any shades in there when we go out to play. But this one is like really, really pretty, it's all family friendly as we talked about. And the restrooms are also like there for them to access ample parking space. So I think they all like really love to play, in our area. And they always, all we heard was all positive things about this field.
Great. Director Huffer.
Yeah, I want to thank all of you for what you've accomplished in just 1 year's time. It's pretty amazing. And to hear how quickly you went from, here's a plan, we got approval for it, and boom, it was there. I mean, that's pretty impressive. Maybe we need to hire them for some other projects as well. So
It's thanks
Um,
to, your team as well, director. It's all your team as effort as well. So they were fully supportive of it. Otherwise it not about.
Yeah, you did mention that you're getting a lot of positive feedback, not only from folks in your own clubs, but those coming in as well. What kind of relationship do you have or have you had with other user groups at Pepper Tree, other than your sport?
So we, again, even during the pitch, construction or even the plan, we have been actually working with, our AOSO soccer field to make sure that, the sharing is actually in a way that they are not impacted. So we continue to maintain that, feedback from them in terms of like, when their matches are there and even when we go on the practice, if there are soccer, players out there, we wait for them to complete and do that. So that's kind of the relationship that we are having with, particularly the AOSO is the one that we always interact with because, as their soccer fields kind of get closer to the pitch and I think even the other side of it, like whenever we see like a soccer coaching going on there, even they are actually giving good respect to the field to make sure that they are not doing it. And I have seen them actually talking to their kids when they are playing in there to say, hey, don't run on the wicket because that is there. So I think there is that kind of a partnership where there is a mutual appreciation to each game, and then we can see that happening across the full year.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. I happen to have a passing interest in AYSO, so
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear you're getting along so well. And again, congratulations to all of you for what you've accomplished just in the past year.
Yeah. And maybe one more comment also, in addition to the cricket playing community, one thing that we all get at almost every single game is people who come there for like a walking or like, other sports who are either the area or there, they always come as like, this looks like baseball. Tell me more about it, right? Tell me always like how many bases do you have? And then like almost like all members of us is like that. You can see that excitement, and there were like few instances where a 2-year-old, 3-year-old boys who were like, playing, they came and they took the ball, baseball, and then they were like actually playing with us. So I can see not just within the cricket community, but also the extended Ventura community, they're actually showing interest, in learning about the game. And there's someone even knew about, hey, in LA 28, isn't the game that get added? I said like, yes, this is the game. Maybe in future, I was telling someone that maybe someone coached here will be actually maybe playing for an Olympic game or for USA at some point in time.
Great. Thank you.
Yes.
I have
Director Buss.
a quick question. So is this a seasonal sport or do you play all year round?
All year around. If it is,
Oh, really? So
yeah.
the season
As long as the weather is good, we will, our regular season with Southern California Cricket Association goes from, April to November. And then we that's like, we play two formats of the game, as you probably heard from them. It's like one is a day long, other is half a day game. So we play like, 10 games each in there. So that season goes along because in total, there are about 50 teams playing in that, Southern California Cricket Association league spanned across 5 divisions. So that takes about, 4 to 5 months to complete. And then what we also do is during the winter, we try to, whenever it is possible with the, with the blessing from the weather, we can play, thanks to the weather at Southern California, we will play, during the November, as you can see, then from November till February, we have our own winter league that is going on where we do play against each other. So it's a year-round sport.
And then what's the age range that play on the team?
Yeah, so we have players, some of the players are, close to like, 50, greater than 50, but we also have the other end of the youth players. We are starting at like 8, 6. My son is 6. He wants to play cricket. He comes there. He is not ready to play with us, but obviously he will come there. But there are players as like young as 8 or 10 actually playing a game with us.
So
Yeah.
the children play with the adults?
Sometimes, yeah, but
Oh,
then they do
really?
have their own team, with
Yeah.
there where they will be more competitive. But when they play with us, I obviously will.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah,
I didn't realize that.
yeah, even
Oh, and it's
it
co-ed.
is co-ed. Yeah,
Huh.
I
we
think
do
we
have
need-
a women's
Yeah, I
team.
didn't get to make it when you guys had the opening day, but
if you-
I need to come see it because I've never seen a cricket game. So
Sure,
Yeah.
we'll. I think on Saturdays and Sundays is usually when we play. So if you have some time, please come and join us.
and
And
you're just there all day.
one of us will be there.
All right, perfect. I will show up then. Thank you and congratulations.
Okay, any other board member questions? As far as the, excuse me, maintenance, has there been any unusual, problems associated with the pitch and where it's located between soccer fields?
I would say maybe some of those cleanups after the dogs. I think those are the things that we see in the pitch, like, the dog poops and others. But outside of that, there has not been anything major outside of that. So that may be the only thing that we have to clean up. With Andrew, yeah.
Okay. Any additional comments or questions? If not, I'd entertain a motion. Yes, Director Cusworth.
Just before I make the motion, I just looked it up. Cricket is the #3 team sport in the world. I mean, that's
Yes.
pretty interesting. I mean, because we don't know about it here so much here, but it's pretty popular. So I'd like to make a motion to authorize the general manager to enter into an amendment to the into amendment #1 to the memorandum of understanding with the Thousand Oaks Titans Cricket Club.
Thank you. And we have a second. With the motion and a second, any other comments or questions come to mind? If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention, hearing none. That motion passes. And congratulations. We really appreciate adding this to CRPD's offerings and so forth. And we
Thank you.
hope continued success and maybe even growing.
Yes, we will. Thank you.
Okay. Even Andrew? Okay, thank you, Andrew. Okay. And you're not obligated to stay, so if you're so inclined, you can leave. Okay, we're moving on to item 9C, amendments to contracts for tree services at various park facilities not to exceed 200,000. Staff, please.
Thank you, Chair Lang, members of the board. As you're aware, we take our tree service contracts annually for board approval. Over the years, we've had a couple different vendors. Actually since 2021, we've had 2 of the vendors, West Coast Arborist as well as Treescapes, on this annual contract. Last year in February, the board approved a 3rd vendor, which is Royal Oak Tree Services. And so the goal really is to be able to maintain the asset of trees throughout the district. That's one of our, the property itself, the turf, as well as the trees, very important for the enjoyability of the community in the park system. And so it's very important that we take care of our trees. And so we've been pretty successful contracting this out. And that's something that historically we've done just because of the specialty equipment and also just from a time that it takes with the trees. We have proposed an increase this past year for up to 200,000 not to exceed. We do have 3 vendors. However, we do have a budget of 250,000 total. And so basically what this has done in the past for us, it just gives us flexibility. So depending on if a contractor is available, hopefully we've been pretty fortunate with not losing any trees and the recent storms and such. But if one contractor's tied up on another job and is not available, we have a number 2 or even a number 3 to go to. And then also it kind of keeps the system honest where, hey, if we get proposals from a couple different, from 2 contractors, we can kind of compare notes and see what the best value is depending on what the work is and timing and all that, right? And then one thing wanted to bring up too, this isn't just cutting trees, right? So the trees are living organisms, huge organisms. And, they just like we have health problems, they have health problems. So we have arborists on their staff that take a look at it as well as with our qualified staff. And so we might do some treatments. We might be changing irrigation patterns, doing probes in the soil, taking a look at what's going on for the health of these trees. And so that's something really important that we're able to utilize with these contracts. And we will continue, we intend to kind of revisit this annually every year. So to bring this back to the board on an annual basis. And then whether it's these three contractors or possibly another contractor that we've been utilizing, depending on, you know, as contractors would come and go, or there could be someone for better value for the district. And then we would meet all the terms that have been approved in past agreements. So it's exactly the same contract. We're just extending it and then adding additional funds to be able to get some more work done. So, and we did part of the, I don't know if I've already mentioned this, part of the budget process, we pushed up our budget. Typically, we're at anywhere from 150 to maybe 225 a year. For tree maintenance, we bumped it up to 250 just from a staff need standpoint. And so again, we won't exceed that 250. We would still have to come back to the board if we did have to spend some more money on trees and such from these contracts. But the goal would be that we can utilize all three of these, but we're not going to look to spend 200,000 with each one of these contractors. So just trying to be overly clear with that. So with that, I am available for questions.
Thank you, Andrew. Board members, any comments or questions? Director Huffer?
Well, you answered my first question, Andrew, about the overall budget for trees, you said at 250,000. So I was just curious, given the sensitivity in our community, do the arborists have to have some kind of special training, or do they need special permits if they're touching an oak tree?
Yeah, so you do get licensed as an arborist. And so that's a certification there, but we do go through oak tree permits or specimen tree permits to the city of Thousand Oaks. So that's part of the services that these companies provide. They help us go through that process with the city staff.
Okay, thank you.
Any other comments or questions? Remind me, how long has it been since we've gone to multiple tree services? If it was while
Yeah.
you were here or not?
Yeah, so it was back in February 2021 is when we went into contract, and partly, if you remember Dave Mortimer,
Right.
he was kind of our go-to in-town arborist for many, many years. And so we had to start kind of looking around to see if there was any other people that would be interested in doing some of the work. And that's why we've kind of tested out these contracts year after year. So, and as I mentioned, Royal Oaks has been under contract with us for just 1 year. The other two have been with us for about 3 years now, so.
Okay, and the arrangement, having three, seems to be working out sufficiently for our staff.
Correct, yeah, it just really offers flexibility. So if someone's not available with other work or specialty work is one contractor does better work doing a certain thing, then staff kind of has a tool belt to be able to utilize which vendor, which contractor for. So.
Right, sounds good. And then you have good relationship with all three of the services. Very important. Okay, any other comments, questions come to mind? If not, I'd entertain a motion for items 9C. Director Huffer?
I'll move approval of staff recommendations 1, 2, and 3.
Second, and thank you, Director Buss. Any other comments, questions, thoughts come to mind? If not, all in favor, say aye. Opposed, abstentions, hearing none, that motion will pass. We're moving on to item 10, reports and announcements A through F. Any particular ones that the board would like to address and pull off for discussion? If not, I have a couple. Item A, recreation highlights, page 55, if I can get to it. I always enjoy, Rochelle, reading your recreation reports. I said 55, didn't I? Okay, George, come on. 53, 55. Oh, I know what it was. The attendance at the fair. How did it say, you said 500 plus people attended. How does that compare with previous years?
I believe that Julie and Patty felt that it was a little busier this year than normal.
Okay. So,
Very good turnout. They were very happy.
okay, that's important. And page 79, George. Bear with me, please. 79, 69, 81. I need to get better fingers here. 79. Global Cafe breakfast. During this period for breakfast, the cafe brought in $4,188 in revenue. My question was, now that's for 3 months, correct? And that's the profits. Is that an average for us for 3 months, or is that low, high?
I think it's getting a little bit higher every quarter, but that's about right. So, it's not a big moneymaker. It's
Right.
something that our chef is able to do while he's prepping for lunch and everything. So, it's just a nice amenity for the community. I mean, eventually we'd love to do more business, but we're content and still marketing. And in fact, we have a couple marketing ideas I think will come out in the next program guide. So
Very well. As you know, I really enjoy it, appreciate it, great value. And I try to introduce a lot of my friends to it, so. Okay, I've got something else here, if I can get my notes together. I have page 60. I'm sorry. Well, I can't find my note associated with it. Oh, I know why, because it didn't have a page number. On the capital improvement program, project status. No, here I am, get my act together. Associated with Rancho Potrero and Walnut Grove. And in the description of the projects, it's got office improvements. What are the office improvements?
Sorry, specifically, where are you looking at? Sherling?
On the first of our capital projects and about halfway down,
Oh, I'm sorry. Yep, yeah, that was our
Rancho Potrero.
community grant. Yep. Yeah, so our community grant, Brian with Ride On was doing some work, some landscaping at Rancho Potrero. And then he was looking at doing some office improvements at the Walnut Grove office. They have a trailer mobile office there. We've actually since he's looking to do a little bit more work at Rancho Potrero just due to timing and with the weather and such for the office improvements at Walnut Grove. But I believe I might have an invoice in my inbox to get that process. So yeah, he was able to get some landscaping done, I believe, on the perimeter, like near the swale at Rancho Potrero, and then some of the other areas. I know he's been working on the kind of at the public right of way, the trail and the walkway at the front edge of the property as well. So, but
Okay.
yeah, it's been going well.
So it's like those mobile homes or whatever that is considered the office work.
Correct. Originally, that was at Walnut Grove. Yep.
Yeah. Okay, that was it. That was it. Any other comments? Yeah, Director Huffer.
No, I did have one quick question of Rochelle, and I have to apologize, but I circled it, so I have to ask on the Wellness Fest. How do you launch yourself to better health?
you launch, well, I guess it would depend on who you asked, Patty, Mike, or Julie. How do you launch
No,
yourself?
launch.
Oh, the spelling is incorrect.
Sorry.
The 5 of us that checked it read it just fine.
Okay. Nothing else to come to mind to ask and discuss about? We're moving on to item 11, department report, starting off with you, Andrew, Parks Division.
Thank you, Chair Lang. Good news, almost there with Conejo Creek North Park Playground. So the 2 to 5 playground's been open for a few weeks now. The 5 to 12, we just got our audit and we have all good, everything's safe. And then we have a couple flat work areas, some concrete to pour in the direct location of the 5 to 12 playground, and we're doing some paint. Well, what doesn't go well with pouring concrete and painting? We got an inch and a half at least of rain the past 24 hours. So we were hoping to open it by tomorrow, depending on the weather and depending on contractors' availability. Most likely it's going to be sometime next week. And so we'll get that open. We are going to be doing a ribbon cutting. We've scheduled Saturday, February 24th at 9 a.m. for ribbon cutting. So we'll be doing something similar to what we did at Dos Vientos. We'll have some refreshments, some crafts, some games. Rochelle's folks are already working on some plans for that. And so it'll be a fun little opening event at the park. And I'm available for questions.
Thank you, Andrew. Any questions for Andrew?
Really quick. So you said that was February 24th at 10 a.m.?
9 a.m.
Oh, at 9 a.m. And that's gonna be the playground that's closer to Lakeside?
It'll be both of them, but we'll probably set up probably in between or possibly at Lakeside, depending on how the rec folks want to run it.
Okay, thanks.
And we'll send invitation out.
Oh, even better.
And mentioning concrete, I was talking to Brian Stark Koska, and he was telling me I think it was last Saturday, they were they had just poured the concrete on either end of the bridge. I don't know if you had a chance to check it out.
I have not been down there yet. But yeah, I know they're making some progress, but obviously with the weather and being where it is, it might slow down some progress there. So
Exactly. A lot of good things going on in our community, CRPD. Moving on to item B, Recreation Division, Ms. Scallis.
Thank you, Chair Ling, members of the board. You guys have in your packets the museum flyer in English and Spanish, highlighting different activities that are going on in our museums in the Conejo Valley. So that is done for the quarter. And then I think taxes are starting or did start yesterday. So I'll let you talk about that. So part of your report, I'm sure. And some exciting news. So just wanted to read a little email that I got. It says, congratulations, your agency has been selected as a 2023 California Park and Recreation Society Award of Excellence recipient for the 60th anniversary celebrating the Conejo Recreation and Park District in the Marketing and Communications Award of Excellence category. So at the CPRS conference, we will be receiving an award. Charlene and Juan will be attending as our marketing department. And then we have 2 or 3 other folks that'll also be attending and 1 board member. So got to go to the special event.
You'll represent us.
So, which thing are they getting the award at?
At the main event, I think it's on Wednesday morning.
Wednesday morning.
I think it's Wednesday morning. I'll get you the info. 'Cause it starts Thursday.
Yeah, well, it kind of starts.
Then it's Thursday morning. She's going for Wednesday conference and the Thursday event. Mhm. And with that, I am available for questions.
Very good. Yes, Director Buss.
I would like to know whose idea was the bunny yoga. That looks amazing.
So a funny story, the goat yoga wasn't available.
Oh.
So our staff were super creative and found another animal and it happened to be a conejo. So they were very smart with that.
That's
So,
hilarious. I've done
yes.
goat yoga and I just saw that and I was like, oh my gosh, bunny yoga.
yeah, yeah.
I think that actually is safer than goat yoga. Yeah, well, it's better than getting mounted by a goat.
That is
So.
true.
I didn't. My girlfriend did. Luckily.
But yes, very fun. So we're having a Conejo
That's so
yoga
cute.
class.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So can I
Any
just?
Yes.
Yeah, I'll just add on to that because when I saw that, we used to have rabbits, a lot of rabbits when my kids were growing up. We had huge rabbit cages. They hop around a lot. How do you do bunny yoga? I mean, we would take our rabbits to the park and then sometimes we just spend all of our time chasing around the rabbits trying to catch them. So I mean, I would be interested to see, and where do you get like what, 20 rabbits for hire? I mean, this is pretty
Creative
interesting.
staff come up with, figure it out.
Well,
So
I,
I'm sure they'll be like fenced in
Yeah.
a yoga area and then the bunnies just hop all over and you can either do yoga or pet a bunny or hold a bunny.
Yeah, maybe it'll just be like bunnies in the area or something.
Yeah.
Because when I saw that, I thought, man, it's hard to contain a rabbit. So, okay. Yeah, well, the other things I'll just do when I talk, but always fabulous things and getting that award's very exciting, so.
Most kids growing up might have a cat or dog, whatever, as a pet. My two granddaughters each have a rabbit. And we have to rabbit sit, when they're out of town and so forth. And they're, well behaved. They're adjusted to their environment and cage and et cetera. And they're even allowed to run free in the living room area every so often. So when I grew up, we had lots of rabbits, but they were utilized for nourishment during the war. Okay, if there are no other questions of Ms. Callis, we're moving on. Did anybody get a hold of Michelle from Aruba? Is she online or something? No. Okay. Well, I assume we're not going to have a report for our Management Services Division. So we'll move on to our General Manager report, item 11D. Mr. Friedel.
Sure, a couple sneak peeks about the next meeting. We're going to have the CLU women's soccer team, the national champions here. That'll be a lot of fun. Next Tuesday, I think several of you are going to be at the VCSDA dinner here in this room. So the annual meeting of VCSDA, we're the host this year. So we'll be right here in this room next Tuesday night for that. And then also next meeting, we're going to do our finance audit and reserves policy. So it'll be kind of the money discussion a little bit, how we did. And I do have a couple handouts for the board as you guys are getting ready to leave tonight, but it'll be fun. It's homework, some homework. I'm going to give you guys your new board buddy assignments and your, task of getting to know your fellow electeds. And then I'm going to hand out the gratitude circle nomination forms and that kind of thing. But other than that, I'm available for any questions.
Any questions of our General Manager?
I have a question. So is the VCSDA meetings going to be here for the entire year?
No,
No, just the same.
Just this time, and then we're going back to Camarillo?
depends on.
Yeah, it
who's
depends.
president.
Yeah, whoever the president is kind of sets where they are.
Oh, okay, so, because we've been in Camarillo for a while, and I thought that's what they said, we're only gonna do it in Camarillo. Are
Whoever
they
is
gonna
the-
start moving around now?
Whoever is the president
Decides.
decides where we're meeting. They often host it at their district.
Uh-huh,
So we've been all throughout Ventura County over the years.
okay,
And I think we picked the president at this meeting.
okay, so that's what I was wondering, we must,
I don't think
No, not at this meeting.
we
It's the
got
next meeting.
another year. She had 2 years.
Oh, okay.
is that Kara? No,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
because I thought that Kara said, I'll only do it if we do it in Camarillo every time.
Yeah.
So I
we'll
guess
be back to
she's-
Camarillo, yeah. Another-
So maybe she's changed her mind since we're coming here. I don't know.
Oh, they just couldn't hold this volume. We have a bigger room
Oh, is that it?
and the
Oh,
annual meetings are more well attended.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
I was just wondering what was causing the change,
Yeah.
so.
Did you want to mention these?
Oh, yeah, we do have, we do have new name tags. So Chair Lang held up the name tag, but it actually, so hopefully you guys all have your brand new name tag, but it kind of also is a reminder for me to just, again, I keep seeing stuff in our marketing staff, and folks they're working with. God, we keep getting like our professional image gets a little better and better all the time. So that's neat to see. So thanks you guys for, working on that.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions for the General Manager? If not, moving on to 11E, Directors' Reports and Follow-up Reports on Meetings, Conferences attended. Director Bus.
All right. Okay, so since the last board meeting, I really just packed it in the last 2 days with the ad hoc Conejo Creek Master Plan meeting, the finance audit meeting, and then the special meeting we were all at. So that's it. It was very exciting.
Thank you. Director Cusworth.
So I was planning to kind of give a shout out to our marketing department.
Oh, it's okay.
Because why is that fun?
Well, I just said it.
Thank you.
I thought I stole your thunder by saying it right before you did.
No. Well, she's the one that talked about that they're getting an award
Mhm.
because when I saw this, number one are the graphics that we are coming out with. Now, I don't know if all of you do your own presentations, but the one that Melissa did the other day, I thought that looks really good. And whenever it's Melissa did it. Okay. But then sometimes whenever we have anything, the graphics that come out of this unit is spectacular, I think. Maybe it's because I couldn't do it that well. So I think whatever you're doing is doing really well. And I've just noticed that marketing is doing incredible graphics. And then when I saw this, for the museums, of course, I've got to talk. The volunteer orientation and the spring arts and crafts was only approved the Monday before last at the board meeting. So, I mean, they got that information, got this done, got it printed and got it out. I mean, I think that's impressive. And so it was just very, very up to date. And then I want to talk about the speaker series because when I retired, people have been asking me to do more stuff. So that is my baby. And so if you can, we've got really good speakers this year at the Stagecoach and Museum that we're really just focusing on history. So Barbara Tejada is speaking on Sunday, and then next month it'll be about female homesteaders. And then in April, it's going to be about the Moore Park Zoo and the history of how that all came together. That's one of the only teaching zoos in the United States. And then we're going to be having about Rancho Guadalaska, which is out near Sawewa, which most people don't know about that. Then we're having a man come and he's going to talk about what Victorians ate in Conejo Valley area in Southern California, how they got the food. So I think it's, of course, why wouldn't I think it's fascinating? I think the history is magnificent, but I just really want to give a shout out to them. So I was at the David, I can't pronounce his last name, Szymanski. So I was there, saw some of the people that I've known from when I've worked through the Santa Monica Mountains. I thought it was very tastefully done. It was a very nice affair. And, Doug and Jim and, were you there, Chuck, too? Okay, so just Doug and Jim were there with me. And then the Stagecoach in meeting, and then the other, I don't think I've been at anything else. So, but I did think that I should mention that it is interesting that we have the best community garden in the entire area, the best cricket pitch in all of Southern California. And when he was talking, I thought, if you're going to be there all day, I can see where a lot of families would enjoy a playground, a covered picnic area, and some bathrooms right nearby. So I would say, even if it wasn't the most glamorous cricket pitch, it would have to be one of the nicest areas. And something that and I had written down here that we have the incredible graphics department, which of course is being noticed. So I guess it's the best graphics department in all of Southern California because they're getting an award. And I just wanted to put out one other thing that some of you may not know about. We have the best square dancing group in the entire area, the largest, probably the best, with a world-renowned square dance caller. So if anybody is interested in joining square dance in the next couple of weeks, they're starting a new class. You will enjoy it. That it.
Thank you, Director.
It does relate because they do their things at the Global Center. Tuesday nights at 7.
Director Hupper, I think it's your turn.
Well, I guess I sort of have to beg to differ about loving the square dancing when you try it for the first time. So I tried it once and quit, so
Well, as long as,
it's nice people, but yeah, it's not my thing.
long as we're on the square dance topic real quick, that was one of the classes Judy and I, as a couple, first did at CRPD, and it was held at the Conejo Community Center.
Was it?
And it was fairly active in those days.
Well, it's gone downhill, but Conejo does have the best. I mean, because we used to have about 4 square dancing groups here, but now I'll get off the topic. I'm sorry. I mean, you know, I probably talk for the next hour. This is a pretty short meeting. How long do you want me to talk?
That's enough.
But it is the best in the local, you know, greater Ventura, Los Angeles area.
Director Huffer, finally.
The two of you are through now?
Yes.
Okay, all right. The only formal CRPD meeting was as Director Buss said, the riveting Finance and Budget Committee, which had us at the edge of our seats the entire time. My thunder was stolen about the tax program. Today was the first day of doing taxes over at Conejo Creek South. And I figured, you know, the first day people are still getting their stuff together. It's raining. No one's going to show up. Wrong. Somebody showed up long before I was there. I was site coordinator today. Someone showed up apparently at 7 o'clock this morning so they could be first to have their taxes done. We ended up having, I think, 28 people that had their tax returns done, which is pretty darn good for the first day when it's pouring down rain. The other things, the continuing saga of my grandkids and rating the various parks. Unfortunately, they were only in town for 3 days, so they were somewhat limited, but we did get to Conejo Community Park. And my granddaughter told me that she would have rated it a 7. And I tried to explain to her that we, other than the fact that the district owns the land, we have nothing to do with the garden. She was really looking forward to the children's garden, but because of the wet grounds, it was closed. And so she had to drop it to a 4 because the garden was closed. So I do apologize, but it is her rating, not mine. So anyway, we got there, we got to Page Lane, which she loved, rated that an 8. We got to Borchard, which she rated a 7. And although it wasn't on the initial list, Andrew had suggested I needed to get over to the newly redone Newberry Gateway, and both grandkids loved that one. She gave that one a 9. So then we went to Disneyland, and the rest of the parks went. I'm going to stick with our local parks. So it's too tiring going to Disneyland. So, and a lot less expensive. So anyway, that's what I have to report. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Huffer. I had an MRCA meeting and also something new, and our general manager also was asked to meet with the young woman. I don't say young, I haven't met her face to face. I'll do that Monday. Who's involved with resurrecting the Conejo Valley Days Parade. And just in general, it's getting traction big time. So I'll be meeting with her on Monday, and I'll have more information, and I'll share it at the following board meeting. So and that basically concludes my report.
Could I add to your
You
report?
sure may.
So they've come to the Stagecoach Inn and they're so excited about this parade. They have people that are fixing Queenie, the 1930 Donna Fargo truck, at no cost, so it can be in the parade. They have people volunteering to fix one of our large stagecoaches so it can be pulled in the parade. And this one fellow that came and talked, he's it's not just, I forgot the name of the woman. She's been down there several times taking pictures and talking about it, but she's got this whole other group now that's backing her. They even said that Westlake Sunrise is
They're the
kind of
host.
coming into it to bring it back. So personally, I think if they can pull it off, it would be very exciting. It was a nice community event. It was a good thing for the junior high kids, could march in the parade in their bands, and So we'll see. It's a big accomplishment to do that again, but we'll see what happens. But they're pretty motivated. He talked to us for quite a long time about all of their plans, so.
Yep. And it'll take place the same day as the Choi Cook-Off. Yeah. All right, that concludes our item 11 department reports. Moving on to item 12, requests for status reports and items of subsequent agendas. Anybody have an item they'd like to bring forward? If not, item 13, items from the public. Any public online? Nope. Item 14, executive closed session. We have no need for a closed session. Right?
No need.
Okay, so with that, we're adjourned.